right, let me know when we're back in the right directory. So apparently it took my moderator 2 hours to get through customs. Will this be the Beastmaster fort? I mean, potentially? Potentially. The real question is, well, I mean, if we want to do a fortress kind of centered around beasts, then we want to get down to the caverns, yeah? And if we want to get down to the caverns, we need reason to be in the caverns. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to old habits and end up doing stuff on the surface a whole bunch. So what I think we should do is find somewhere that is close to like desert or very flat area that we can just dig down. Also, that link is still good after the sponsored segment is done. So now this is the world settling screen. Let's just find somewhere that we can settle. So we're thinking like very deserty type area, right? Because we have all of these. This whole area down here, it's all tropical grassland or savanna. And it's like sparse trees, untamed wilds. Could be a potential lot of fun, I guess. There's also like this area, which looks weird, but the problem is most of this stuff is aquifers. This is way too confusing. I would watch if you go to this. There's a video in that playlist called How to DF, and just how to like understand the visuals, which might actually help you a lot. Ooh. This might be a spot. But if you're confused about what you're looking at, just ask. Ask me questions. I can do my best to answer any questions. So this is a really tempting spot. What's our neighbors here? Goblins? Okay, so goblins are nearby. We can find us a faction who's close-ish by. Okay. The Gleeful Road. The Mint Silvers is also an option. Oh, actually, this one probably. The Rumored Canyons has the closest fort to us. It's just up north a little bit. Kind of across the water. Also, heads up, chat room, investments are open. I think this might be our spot. The Evil Blisters is the name of the local stream. What's up here? What biome is this? This still tropical grassland? Okay. It is still tropical grassland. The only difference is this area has clay. And this one has an aquifer. Okay. So I think we'll just kind of go for this little river here. What's the elevation like? Oh shit, that's actually really steep. For some reason I was expecting that to be like not steep. In fact, it's extreme cliffs. Not to my knowledge. I don't actually think it affects the dwarves' mood in any way. I don't think it does. As I've done stuff in scorching areas before, with no issues. Yeah, the site might seem a little bit, how do I explain it? Budget, but everything works great. Everything loads extremely fast. In fact, I have more issues loading Netflix half the time. And everything runs really well in 1080p, at least on my internet. Did you sign up for the 30-day trial by chance, Max? Yeah, I think we're gonna start here. So we're part of it. We're in the same world, kind of the opposite end of the world. A different faction, the Rumored Canyons instead of the Shield of Miles. And our goal is to build a cavern fort underground to just straight up avoid having to be up on the surface. There is trees and vegetation, but they're both scared. Surroundings are untamed wilds, so we'll get all kinds of fun critters running around. The neighbors are goblins that we're at war with. We also have humans close by, so there will both be dwarves and humans to trade with. And because we're part of a different faction, hopefully we won't get too many migrants from the previous one. Yeah, absolutely. No, it is fantastic for that, Max. It is fantastic for that. And I think that's going to be us. This is going to be a really quick Embark video. But we need to select this. I just like the price point for curiosity more than anything, Max. It's just such a reasonable thing. Like when I first discovered it, it was actually in a YouTube video ad for another sponsored segment. And I took one look at it, saw the price, and signed up for a year. Like I used it for about 30 minutes and then signed up for a year. Because I was like, it's $20 a year. Okay, sure. And I almost watch it more than Netflix now. I still watch Netflix. There's a few things I still watch on Netflix, but it's basically the only thing I watch these days. All right, so we do have a few dwarves to start off with. And I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a Beast Master fort. I'm kind of between two ideas here. Do we want to be more about beast slaying, or do we want to be more about beast capturing? You know what I mean? Like, do we want to enslave the underground monsters, or do we just want to fight the underground monsters? You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's just take a look at this first dwarf. We're gonna need names, by the way. Actually, let's do fort name first. What can we call it? South Blockade. Okay, that's like way too good of a name. That is way too good of a name already. I almost just want to go with the default name, South Blockade. Slave them? I'm thinking kind of a combination of the two. Maybe slay great beasts and like enslave the normal animals? You think it's boring? Well, what do you think we should name the fort then, Max? What do you think we should name the fort? That's what I figured that you meant, boring name. It's like, if you think it's boring, what would you have us name it? Cause like, South Cliff? We're not really that far south. We're on the equator, I guess. We could go with this. Ancient Blockade. Because we slay and enslave forgotten beasts? To be no more in tune with the kids. Good thing I'm not in tune with the kids. Although if we get in tune with the kids, we'll probably have, you know, a more successful channel. So I guess you're probably right. Broadbeard? How is that less boring than Ancient Blockade? Sorry, I disagree. Ancient Bristle could be good. Hit rando? No, you hit rando. I like the word ancient too much, so I'm kind of sticking with that. Ancient cat. Ancient chains. Ancient blockade of chains. Although ancient trains just sounds like ancient chains just sounds like ancient grains. Get cereal now with more ancient chains. Zust ash meb tob nikat. Zust ash med tob nikat. Ancient blockade of chains. Might be a bit much of a mouthful even for dwarves. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So you're saying just call it ancient chains? Just remove the of the part? The problem is I also don't know what you're saying. I'm just trying to decipher what you're saying. I'll go with that. Ancient blockade of chaos. Now it sounds like something. Ancient blockade of fools. How about front compound clear? We can just be blockade of fools. Medtob Kabnul, the blockade of fools. That's a good name. It's like we were sent here by our faction to form a blockade of fools from the underground. It also kind of gives us like an idea of character too, right? Because suddenly we're the blockade of fools. They're not doing this because it's the wise thing to do. They're doing this because they're fools. I like that idea. Let's roll with that. Let's do the symbol. I mean, we can. We could make it... We can make it a rock. If I can actually, like, scroll up and down in this. An image of a rock, which is a giant bird of prey that I actually killed in the last fort. No relationship. Being flayed, mutilated, shot, tortured, burning, cooking. I like melting as an option. Could also throw it in as striking a menacing pose, but yeah. I don't know if I want to, you know, how about this? That's fine. Let's do a creature. The rock is eating the weremole. Nah. Let's say it's a weremole. Just one. And then action. The weremole is being shot. Ah, darn, I wish I knew a historical figure. Let's just go down to Dwarf. Let's find us a dwarf. Just non-particular dwarf. Just a dwarf. Two dwarves. The weremole is being shot. The dwarves are laughing. This always takes me way too long to figure out. Also, this is the part of this soundtrack that I don't like. Let's jump over to this one. It is much better.
Writing's not.
That's not much better. That's an ad for Grammarly. This is much better. We've skipped the ad for Grammarly. Oh, also, hello, Plum Sauce. You know, there was a time when I almost made the Twitch account Where's the Lamb Sauce, because it wasn't taken. This is an image of a weremole and two dwarves. The weremole is being shot. The dwarves are laughing. The powers of paper. Change name. So the name of our symbol is... So what would the name of a symbol like that be? No, that's not the final name. We're changing the name of the powers of paper. Battle of the powers of paper. Let's just randomize it a couple times. The Armored Stream, Diamond Coasts, Nuts of Blockading. The Nuts of Blockading. Considering the fortress name is Blockade of Fools. Man, we should make... I should make that a squirrel, actually. So it's just like a squirrel. The squirrel is being or a were-squirrel. The squirrel is being shot. The dwarves are laughing. But then I'd have to go back in and edit it. How am I? I'm alright. I've been better. What's up, Kiri? It's been slow today. You're up late. You're not normally awake this late. How was your multiplayer stream today? Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the name of our fortress's symbol. The name of the fortress is the Blockade of Fools. The name of the symbol is a were creature getting shot and a bunch of dwarves laughing at it. And I got this randomly generated name called the Nuts of Blockading, which is just too funny. I think it went well. I got 2 more to do, right? So, we'll see. The problem is I kind of have to cram them all in because I have to do it 3 times, right? And I only have until, like, basically until the 25th. So I've got 5 days to do 3 sponsored things. Just kind of a pain. I kind of want to say the nuts of battle, but the nuts of battle. Battle. Why does it keep making it battle of the nuts of blockading? Nuts of. Because clearly I didn't hit enter. Clear. The nuts of blazing. Blazing nuts! Nuts of battle is the name of our symbol. The nuts of battle. An image of a weremole. Okay, so I need to see if I can change this to a were squirrel. Whale shark, werecat, werehare, that's hard to say. Walrus man. Oh. Filter. Where? There's no option for a were squirrel, chat. So we're gonna have to go with the mole. Done. All right, and our group name. We need a name for the name of the group. I'm thinking just like Ancient Fools or something. Well, let's just randomize it. The 10 Books, Sacrificial Corridors, The Pure Untamed Ink, Ships of Tunneling. I'm not sticking to the nuts theme too much. It's a little bit too immature for me. Flaxen Helms. See, my theory is that the dwarves just didn't even get that it was a funny joke. Blockaded Fools. That's like just the name of the fortress backward, though. Or that's just the name of the fortress, though. Folded Guilds, Dabbling Wheels, The Whip of Crosses, Mechanical Cloister, Twinkling Seal of Lands, The Dyke of Mobbing, Rhythmic Arches. I kind of like that, the Rhythmic Arches. A really formal sounding name. Let's find out a little bit about our dwarves. So this first dwarf right here, I need a name. Raise your hand in chat if you would like to be a dwarf in this fort. One of the founding dwarves, no less. We just remember we do have 7, so there is space. All right, well, we'll start off with plum sauce, I think. So, your dwarf is 62 years old, born on the 3rd of limestone in the year 196, is strong, but she is very flimsy and clumsy. She personally values peace over war and doesn't see cooperation as valuable, doesn't think one way or another about leisure times, and dreams of mastering a skill. You sound like a quality miner. You're gonna be a competent miner. We're gonna customize you and name you Plum Sauce. There you go, Plum Sauce. She likes borax, lead, cinnamon, grossler, Akata wood, crystal glass, gigantic tortoise shell, statues, and the sight of bewilderment. And when possible, you prefer to consume glass eye and dwarven beer. I don't even know what glass eye is. And you hate mosquitoes. She is ruled by irresistible cravings and urges. She is confident under pressure, and she dislikes abstract discussions and would much rather focus on practical examples. She only rarely tries to assert herself. She only rarely tries to assert herself in conversation, and she isn't particularly curious about the world. She has a great sense of empathy, a good spatial sense, and a good kinesthetic sense. But she has an iffy sense for music, meager creativity, poor memory, and very bad intuition, and very bad analytical abilities. Hello, Neso. Last fort died. Well, I retired it, actually. Same world, different faction. Other end of the world, we want to build a cavern fort. It's been a while since I made a cavern fort. Especially the very bad part. I don't know. So let's take a look at this second dwarf. View. 84 years old, born on the 14th of Malachite in the year 174. And he can be Wave Thrash. He is weak. He personally values hard work and dreams of raising a family. He often feels lustful and doesn't focus on material goods, rarely feels discouraged, and he is quite ambitious, and he generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity. And he is he thinks he is fairly important in the grand scheme of things, and he tends to assume the worst of two outcomes will be the one that comes to pass. He tends to avoid crowds, and he does not easily hate or develop negative feelings. You just want to be a dwarf with no skills, Max? I mean, yes, we could just give you a dwarf with no skills. I mean, you know, now that I think about it, we are the fools, right? We are fools, yeah? So wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that we have no usable skills? Shit. The Blockade of Fools. A bunch of peasants are just like, we're gonna go slave monsters. Dagnabbit. Jeez. Well, I'm gonna give you a couple shots in mining. And, okay, so here's actually what we're gonna do. We're gonna have 3 miners. One of the miners has a few points in Mason, and a carpenter, and 3 peasants. Jack of all trades. We'll see how this goes. So, let's name this next one up. This can be Perilous 3D. He is 66 years old, born on the 3rd of Timber in the year 192. Very strong, rarely sick, and tough, but he is slow to heal. Personally values cunning, finds eloquence and artful speech off-putting, doesn't particularly value the truth, and doesn't particularly care about craft worship. Dreams of raising a family. And he sometimes can act without deliberation, and he tends to assume the worst of 2 outcomes. will be the one that comes to pass. He doesn't tend to hold onto grievances, and he does not go out of his way to help others. He doesn't often feel envious of others, and he is somewhat fearful in the face of imminent danger. Kibbs and Britches, what's up? It's good to see you. I hope that you're doing well today, Kibbs. I'm not taking requests, Perilous. I like the idea of a bunch of peasants and a few people with a few skills, so we're just gonna roll with that. Okay, did I miss anything? I mean, you should sub if you want to support the stream. But, you know, I could be persuaded. What happened to the previous fort? It drifted away. I gave up, I guess, would be the easiest way to say it. I mean, it's still there. I retired it. So, it's... I don't know, man. It didn't really die, it just... eh. That's all I can say. It's still there, but... we are now creating the Blockade of Fools! And I need to remember where the... okay, who am I missing here? Aha. Me... H. Neil... Look. Can you tell me how to say your name, friend, for this one? We did had candy, yeah. We did had it candy, but like the problem with having candy is like if every single one of your if you're just constantly tantruming, it's just more work than it's worth. Mihna with a hard H. I have no idea how to pronounce that. So, could you give me like a phonetical pronunciation? She personally sees cooperation as very important in life and values peace over war, dreams of mastering a skill. She is quite durable, but she is quick to tire, very slow to heal, and quite susceptible to disease. It's a Romanian name? Ah, yeah, that would do it. So, Strimmer's boned then, is what you're saying. It's like meanie? Meanie? Oh god, I can't say that. Like mini? Whenever there's just like H's in the middle of a word, as my Canadian things can't read that. Ninia. Like that? That's all I can say for that user rune. Perilous, I owe you push-ups or sit-ups. It's up to you which. 5 to be specific. And thank you very much for subscribing. For some stupid skulls. Means a lot, man. Cheers. She is an overbearing personality. She is often sad and dejected. She is very greedy. She is easily moved to mercy. She is an optimist. She often feels lustful. And she doesn't mind a little tumultuous and discord in day-to-day living. So that's because you hate them? Aight. She likes diorite, zinc. Oh, dacite. Dacite, zinc, dementoid, giant worm, moon snail shell, gems, dogs for their loyalty, and the sight of the mauve larks. When possible, she prefers to consume anole, squid, foxtail mullet beer, and mullet flour, and tomatoes specifically. and she absolutely hates large roaches. Glad it describes you perfectly. I gotta do some sit-ups. 2 seconds. If you want a dwarf, raise your hand in chat. One of these days I'm gonna do those and hit my head on the TV. It's gonna fall on me. Be on Twitch fails for days. You do value honesty above all else? Who doesn't value honesty above all else? I personally just detest mosquitoes. Alright, so Kiri would like a dwarf. Let's see which dwarf you got. She is 75 years old, born on the 11th of Opal in the year 183, middle-aged for a dwarf. She has high cheekbones and she has a very round chin. Her hair is clean-shaven, and her ears are very short, and her slightly wide-set raw umber eyes are somewhat narrow. She's flimsy, and she personally finds the ideas of independence and freedom somewhat foolish, values hard work and values tradition, does not particularly value the truth, and does not care about family one way or another. Dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. She is a dyed-in-the-wool quarreler. All right, never missing a chance to lash out in verbal hostility. Perfect description of Kiri. She is bothered by this since she values friendship. She is greatly moved by art and natural beauty, and she is troubled by this since she dislikes the natural world. Oh God, she is not careful with resources when working on projects and often spends unnecessary effort. She isn't particularly curious about the world, and she tends to ask others for help with difficult decisions. She sometimes acts with little determination and confidence, and she often feels envious of others. She has a good willpower and a good memory, but she has a questionable spatial sense, poor analytical abilities, and little difficulty with words, and a poor creativity. This is like true dark Kiri, yeah. It's just funny. She has thin lips and an upturned nose, and she hates bark scorpions. She prefers to consume char and dwarven beer. Seems like a pretty good dwarf. Kibbs and Radagast are the next two that are in for the starters. So like I said, we are the fools of Blockade. Blockade of fools. So we are going to start with a bunch of dwarves with no skills. None. So I'm going to be manually assigning skills. So we have 4 dwarves with skills and 3 with none. And those skills are useful for, like, some things. So next one here is Kibbs. Kibbs, she is 53 years old, born on the 20th of Glenna. She's very muscular and she has high cheekbones. She has a deeply recessed broad chin, and her nose bridge is concave. Her hair is clean-shaven, and she has a round chin. So you want me to waste points that I could potentially spend on stuff to bring with Perilous? Yeah, if we don't know them either. That's a very good point. If we don't know what we're doing, how can anybody predict our next plan? She doesn't stick with things. God, I can't. She personally holds the view of commerce. She personally holds the view that commerce is a vile obscenity, and dreams of raising a family, and doesn't stick with things even if minor difficulties arise. She has a strong tendency towards privacy, and she only rarely feels strong cravings or urges. So here's the thing that I have to say about this. This is the image I have of these dwarves now. This is a group of dwarves that all hung out for a really long time. Kind of friends, right? And one of them just had this idea, and they're just like, yo, we should go fight monsters, and found our new fortress, because this fortress sucks. And then they just kind of got exiled and were sent out to go do this. Don't do that transaction in front of the kids. This is vile and disgusting. How dare we sell anything? That's kind of my headcanon for this fortress currently. And the last one. Radishgast. He is 79 years old, born on the 12th of Hematite in the year 179. He is short and fat, and his sideburns are clean shaven. His very long mustache is arranged in double braids. He personally sees power over others as something to strive for, deeply respects the skill at arms, and doesn't really value merrymaking. Dreams of creating a great work of art. He never fails to seek out the most stressful or even dangerous situations. Well, we found out who the leader is. It doesn't stick with things even if minor difficulties arise. Wait, what? So he seeks out the most dangerous situations, but doesn't stick with them the second they go bad. So goes out of his way to get into trouble, but doesn't stick with them. He does not easily hate or develop negative feelings. He generally finds himself to be quite hopeful about the future, and he finds helping others emotionally rewarding. He doesn't often feel envious of others, and he is quick to anger. He needs alcohol to get through the working day, and he likes working outdoors and grumbles mildly at bad weather. He has a very good sense of position of his own body, a great deal of patience and willpower. But he has a poor analytical abilities, poor spatial senses, and very bad intuition. Often poor focus and lousy creativity. Natural born boss. Well, Radagast is going to immediately be given a weapon of sorts. All right, so we're going to bring 2 extra picks. We're going to remove all the wooden crud. Because why would we need to bring wood with us? We're gonna bring an extra battle axe, just in case. Why do we have a steel anvil? Hold on, do we only have access to steel? Or are we just a really rich faction? Let's just find out. I'm forgetting where these are. Are these in training? Tools, probably? I actually don't know where anvils are in this menu. Paranoid conspiracy theory weeaboo? Sure. We can roll with that. With Ben Affleck. Large granite pots. Does anybody know? Checked into B&B. Whoa! Yeet. Good job checking into B&B. Can somebody help me out here? Does anybody know where in this, for fuck's sake, is actually, hold on. Let's just do anvil. A-N-V-I-L. Okay. New. A-N-V-I-L. I guess we have to take the steel one. My faction sucks. Okay, cool. I guess we're taking a steel anvil with us. Well, regardless, we're gonna take 1 dog, 2 dogs, 1 kitty, 2 kitty, and I think I'm just gonna take a bunch of hens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chickens, and a rooster, a single rooster. Cat explosion has not been a thing in a very long time, thank God. Yeah, we've got cats, and we'll have a bunch of chickens. Kind of for food. And we'll increase prepared llama spleen a little bit, increase plump helmets a little bit, and we'll just pump up the ale. The rest of it. So how was the flight, Hobo? And everything. I hope it was satisfactory. All right. That is us. So once again, the Blockade of Fools from the group known as the Rhythmic Arches, and our symbol is the Nuts of Battle, an image of a weremole and 2 dwarves. The weremole is being shot. The 2 dwarves are laughing. Beautiful. I just realized I didn't give you a name, Priestess. Remind me. You can be one of the first migrants. Do I have a time set? I'm thinking 4 at the train station that I mentioned in DMs. So, like, in an hour. It's about 20 minutes for me to get there. Not even. So, we just need to walk down to the train station, get on the train, and go over. Sound good? Also... yeah. So... let's just pause real quick. Gotta click this button. Taxi was fine. Vancouver, Canada doesn't have Uber, though so popular thing. Let's take a peek around. Oh, we've got a waterfall.